channel. My name's Brian Kingsbury. Today we're going to do another Brian Reads the News segment. This one is titled 8 Things You Didn't Know About UFC President Dana White. It's brought to us by Sportskeeda.com. Dana White is the public face of the UFC and is just as synonymous with the promotion in the eyes of the casual fans as Conor McGregor is. He has been at the helm of the promotion for years and was instrumental in elevating MMA from the status of an obscure niche sport to something globally recognized. Due to the fame that came with his success, a lot is known about Dana White, whether it's his feud with Tito Ortiz and the fact that the two of them almost took part in a boxing match, to him claiming that he'd rather watch flies procreate than watch a Ben Askren fight. That, however, doesn't mean that everything about him is well known. There is still much about the UFC president that escapes general public interest. But this list covers 8 things about him that probably aren't known. Fact number 8. Dana White and his mother do not get along. The exact reason behind the estranged relationship that Dana White has with his mother, June White, is unknown, but the two do not get along. In fact, his mother wrote an unauthorized autobiography on him titled Dana White, King of MMA. In this autobiography and several interviews, she made startling claims. First, his mother described him as a cruel and vindictive person before making more damning claims like him allegedly sleeping with the UFC's ring girls and even his own sister-in-law, which is especially troubling given that Dana White is married with children. Fact number 7. Dana White sometimes lives at the UFC headquarters in Las Vegas. Back in early July, Dana White was part of one of Complex's long-running videos where celebrities reveal the contents of their shoe closet. While going over his sneaker collection, White revealed that he actually spends significant time at the UFC headquarters in Las Vegas. He saw to it that the promotion's Las Vegas headquarters featured a gym for him to work out in, a kitchen for his food, a closet, and more. With all of the comforts he requires from home, he can spend days at the headquarters tending to business instead of hurrying to and from his home. Fact number 6. Mobster Whitey Bulger ran him out of Boston. Long before he was the most successful promoter in MMA history, Dana White spent his time as a personal boxing instructor for businessmen, wealthy housewives, and the like in Boston. Unfortunately for him, he drew the attention of notorious mobster James Whitey Bulger, who led the Winter Hill Gang. White was approached by Bulger's enforcers and told that he owed them a cut of his profits. However, he paid them no mind. Sometime later, he received a phone call warning him to make the payment within a certain time frame. White claims to have immediately purchased a ticket to Las Vegas, fleeing Boston. Fact 5. Dana White was a boxing instructor. As stated in the previous entry, the UFC president was once a boxing instructor. Initially, he worked with children and teenagers from different backgrounds under a charity program of some sorts, but found that he was making no money. This led him to changing his client base. He began working as a boxing trainer for businessmen, housewives with money to spare, and more. The long-time experience with boxing is what led to his confidence in his chances against former UFC light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz in a boxing match. Fact number 4. He used to manage Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell. Despite the enmity between Dana White and Tito Ortiz, the two were once close friends, with White even acting as the Huntington Beach Bad Boys manager. But it wasn't just Tito Ortiz that he managed. The UFC president also managed legendary 205-pound champion Chuck Liddell in the latter's pre-UFC career. However, upon assuming presidency of the world's premier MMA promotion, a conflict of interest arose and White could no longer work as any fighter's managers, for his primary interest became the financial well-being of the promotion. Fact 3. He suffers from Meniere's disease. As a well-muscled man who appears to work out quite often and is surrounded by world-class athletes, White is known to be in good shape for a man of his age, who is under constant exposure to extreme amounts of stress. However, what some fans might now know is that he suffers from a medical condition. Meniere's disease is an inner ear disease with symptoms similar to vertigo, but with heightened severity. He claims that he first contracted the disease after a prominent fight during his younger years. Fact 2. He hates Steve Mazzagatti. There are countless people with whom Dana White does not get along with. The UFC president has a poor relationship with renowned MMA journalist Ariel Helwani, for example, and who could forget the deep level of hatred he feels for the likes of Bob Arum and Mario Yamasaki due to his controversial stoppages. But there's another referee who has drawn his ire, and that is Steve Mazzagatti, whose skills the UFC president has disparaged time and time again, claiming that he has no ability to control a fight and that he never knows when and how to intervene with fighters are either fouling or being inactive. And finally, fact number 1, Dana White used to be a bellboy. Dana White has had an eventful life, but according to him, his professional life as someone looking for work began at age 19 when he became a hotel bellboy. It marked one of the many odd jobs he held as a youth before he transitioned into combat sports. He went from working as a boxing instructor to parlaying his aggregate work experience into becoming one of the most successful combat sports promoters of the modern age. There you have it, 8 things you didn't know about UFC President Dana White. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and like the video. And if you really enjoy this fun fact content, consider subscribing to the channel.